Welcome back for April in review. So it's been a little while since we've seen each other, but yeah, I got some games over the month of April, and I'm just gonna show them off. A couple different places they came from, lots of Japanese stuff, but we'll show off all of it. So it's enough interesting stuff, enough interesting things. And at the end of the video, I have a mildly large announcement. It's nothing big, but I am excited for it, so we'll do that at the very end. But this first set of four games is in reference to a series that I talked about in the last video I had, which was like Switch in review, the last winter in review video, just a bunch of Switch games I had gotten in the early parts of the winter. And in April, I got the rest of the games in that series. So the game I talked about back then was the 2024-2025 version of Power Pros. So didn't really come to North America. Power Pros was on PS2 and Wii. I think we got like a total of 3 games across 2 consoles or something like that. But it's way more common in Japan. The series has been around since like the Super Famicom. Obviously, if I got one Switch game then and there's another 4, it's very popular in Japan. And it's as it looks like, it's a baseball game with these little chibi characters. So really cool. But after I got the other one, I was like, I wonder how many other ones there are. And so I got them. This first one was Jikyu Powerful Pro Yakyu. That's the first one. They also have, like in North America, we get like these little seals at the bottom for whichever sport it is. So like it'll be like in a circle MLB seal for baseball. I'm pretty sure Madden's have like the NFL seal. And it's cool because these games from Japan have the Nippon Professional Baseball League seal, which is the MLB, but in Japan. So that's really cool. Also to have like these teams licensed by NPB teams the same way we have like MLB The Show with official MLB teams. So there's the first one. The next one is eBaseball Powerful Pro Yakyu 2020. So we showed off 2024. This is 2020. I don't think they go yearly anymore, just because I think they are maybe a little bit more okay with updating rosters than MLB The Show or other sports games. That's a big thing. But 2020, 2021, and then also eBaseball Powerful Pro Yakyu 2022, and also has the 2023 at the bottom. This one's actually sealed, so that's pretty cool. So as far as I know, we have been getting, or Japan has been getting, these NPB games in chibi style since like 2020, but also like every year since that. So maybe that these are just like dual year releases. I'm not entirely sure, but very cool. And then the very last one, I don't really know what this one is. It is Power Pro Kun Pocket R. So I'm not quite sure what that is. I don't know. It is a baseball game on the back. I don't remember when this one was released. I'm quickly looking for a year on the back, and I don't. I see 2020 on the back, but it might have been referencing the 2020 release. So maybe this was a side game. I see some rhythm elements on the back. I don't think these games are just straight like MLB The Show type games, but yeah, long story short, there is all four other Power Pros games in Japan. I probably won't go for an entire complete series just because there's so many, and then I also get into the realm of like, oh, well, let me get them on PS4 too, and we're not going to do that. We'll stick to the Nintendo systems, but yeah, I have a whole bunch on Super Famicom, a couple on N64, I think. So it's cool. They're cool. So next up is 2 more Switch games. The next one is it doesn't really need much of an introduction, but that is Pocket Monsters Shield, or of course Pokemon Shield, Gen 8 Pokemon with a dual release with Pokemon Sword. And I never played this growing up, or not growing up, when it came out, I should say. Famously, I bought a Switch when the OLED came out in 2021. So the era of 2017 to 2021, I never had a Switch, didn't play any Switch games, and I also was on a very long hiatus of Pokemon games. So the last generation I played was Generation 4, way back in like the mid 2000s, and didn't come back to the series until Gen 9, when I was like back into like, oh, it's okay to play Pokemon as an adult. But yeah, now we're just going for the Japanese games. I'm missing a whole bunch on Japanese Switch, but we got this one, so we move on. But actually, it's a good time to mention, a lot of the Japanese games in this episode are coming from Japanese game auctions. So the Power Pros games did not, but I was on a little bit of a hunger pang. I don't know what the word is, but like I was itching to get some stuff on eBay, and I found a nice sweet spot of listings or saved searches that, Japanese sellers will put up games for like a penny, 99-cent auctions, and, I just put up cheap bids, and if they win, they win, and if not, I leave them alone. And I got this for cheaper than what I would have been able to buy it now for. Not a whole lot cheaper, but yeah, a lot of the games in this video come from that. So if you see a lot of Japanese games, they were probably won on an auction, not including the Power Pros games. Those I bought outright. But anyway, next up is Super Bomberman R. Same thing, another another game I won in an auction. Not a big Bomberman fan. Bomberman's it's kind of crossed a couple different genres, but I believe it started as a puzzle game. We talked about it in like the first episode of like Nihon no Konyo Henshokai on the Famicom a long time ago. I have Super Bomberman R2 on Switch in English. I think I got it on like Black Friday a couple years ago, and now I have the first one, but in Japanese. So like that's kind of cool, right? Kind of cool. I probably won't play this, but at least we add it to the collection. Switch games are hopefully going to start getting more cheaper. They're going to get cheaper now that Switch 2 is coming out, and that's a whole different thing. But anyway, we move back in time, and I have 4 games across 2 systems that I all got in the same lot because they are all of the same series. So the first one I'll show, actually I'll just say what it is. It's the Ace Attorney series. So I am not super familiar with the Ace Attorney series. It is, as it sounds, you are doing some investigative work. You are, it's sort of, I want to say it's visual novel. I believe that's the proper genre, but you're investigating, you're in court. I think like the big thing is, like on this cover, you play as, I'm pretty sure that's Phoenix Wright, and you get to object to stuff. I want to say it's probably more popular in Japan, but it has some traction here, even though not really my cup of tea. But anyway, now that it's on the screen, this is Gyakuten Saiban 1, 2, 3, Naruhodo Selection, or more specifically, the Best Price variant. It says it right at the top, Best Price. So, of course, like we get Greatest Hits, we get, what was it on PS2 was Greatest Hits, on GameCube it was Player's Choice, and we still get those kind of things today, and they get just Best Price releases, so maybe not so much Greatest Hits. There are some Greatest Hits games I can think of, some on PS2, but they just get straight re-releases where the whole thing's cheaper. So this is specifically the Ace Attorney games 1, 2, and 3, I want to say remade for 3DS. I didn't really go into too much research just for an April in review video, but it's a collection of 1, 2, 3 in this super nice box, very cool. And 1, 2, 3. But not only did I get 1, 2, and 3, I also got Gyakuten Saiban 4. Jeez, I can't read numbers. Gyakuten Saiban 5, also Best Price. And this one would be Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies here in North America. I will also say that we got 1, 2, and 3, the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy here in North America. So even though they are Japanese series, we did get them here. So that's pretty cool. So, I got 1, 2, 3 in a collection, and then I got 5 on its own. So where's number 4? Well, I also got number 4. So all in the same lot. 2 complete in-box 3DS games, and then I got 2 loose DS games from the same series. This is Gyakuten Saiban 4, or Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in Japanese. I also think I have one of them on Game Boy Advance. Not super familiar with the whole series, so if you want to give me some history, I would love to read it. But now we have number 4, and the last one is Gyakuten Kenji, or Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. I have heard the name Miles Edgeworth, the same as I have heard of Apollo Justice and Phoenix Wright. I could not tell you anything else about the series besides the fact that I have heard of those names. I think it's like the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. There's one on Switch. There's like a collection on Switch that I have, but I really can't tell you anything about it. But if I told you how cheap I got the lot of 4 of those games, you would be like, okay, I'd probably buy that too. So that's cool to get some games in a popular series. But yeah, we move on. So next up, we're going to jump all the way back to the PS1, specifically the Japanese PS1. Same thing. Got the lot of all 3 for relatively cheap, and that is the Arc the Lad trilogy. So Arc the Lad 1, Arc the Lad 2, and of course, Arc the Lad 3. So, I don't know anything about this series, but I do very clearly remember when I was working at the game store that we would get on PS1 the Arc the Lad trilogy or Arc the Lad collection on PS1, which is the first Arc the Lad release that we got here. So Japan got the 3 Arc the Lads released individually, obviously, but we didn't get the individual releases. We just got the collection, and that collection is really, really expensive. It comes in a nice, like PS1 collector's edition type box, and it's like $200 or something. So I paid a fraction, a very small percentage of that for the trilogy. One of them is a like the PlayStation the Best release, but like obviously with the Ace Attorney games, I don't really care about that. It's just cool to have them. But I believe they're a series of tactical RPGs, so they're a little lost to time perhaps. I believe when I was doing some like really quick peeking about Arc the Lad just to say something about it outside of my like memory of seeing it. I'm pretty sure there were 2 PS2 games released after this. Not nearly as expensive, not nearly as hard to find. I don't remember seeing them, but like they're not expensive. And I'm pretty sure outside of 3 PS1 games, 2 PS2 games, the series is dead since then. I don't think there have been remasters of any sort. I could be wrong, double check me. But yeah, now I have the Arc the Lad trilogy for a fraction of the cost that I would have had to pay on North American PS1. But also, one thing I'll note is just when I was going to test these games, just put them real fast into my Japanese PS2. I am not nostalgic for PS1 graphics, and anytime I put a PS1 game in, either in my PS1 or on the PS2, and then blow it up on my TV, it looks really, really bad. N64 games I can kind of say the same for, but for whatever reason, the Arc the Lad games looked almost crystal clear on my TV. PS1 games, or Japanese PS1 games and a Japanese PS2 on my modern day TV, I was like, that actually doesn't look horrendous. So, not that I'm a snob for like graphics or anything like that, but yeah, I was like, wow, these look really, really good for no reason. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, if you have anything to tell me about Arc the Lad or even Ace Attorney, please tell me more. I always continue to like learning about these games. So anyway, we move backwards in time. We'll jump all the way back to the NES, but it's not even a game that I got on NES. It is the Mario 3 strategy guide from Nintendo Power. So I am not a magazine collector. I'm not a book collector. I had a very short era of me wanting to collect video game books that stopped. But I was like, one strategy guide here or there is not going to hurt me. And I put in this bid for this Mario 3 strategy guide, which Mario 3, I grew up playing that with my dad on my Game Boy Advance because he played on the NES, and then when they re-released it for Game Boy Advance, I played it. We played it together. So like good memories there. But I was like, that's a good game that I should get a strategy guide for. And I saw this listing for this Nintendo Power. I think it's number 13, volume number 13. Yeah, it says 13 right there. But saw a listing, an auction for it. Everything else was a little bit more expensive, so I was like, why not? It's not in the best shape. I don't know how much you could tell. The binding isn't great. It's a little beat up here. The pages could be a little better, but for what I paid for it to just sit on a shelf, it was good enough for me. So that's kind of cool. We might have another episode talking about books, maybe at some point. But yeah, this is a cool one to get. Nintendo Power, of course, if you're not super familiar, was just Nintendo's line of magazines, monthly magazines back in the day, or monthly. I think it could have been bi-weekly at some point. I don't know, whatever. I'm not a Nintendo Power guy, but if there was one that I wanted to get, it was this one. I believe this was also the first of 4 strategy guides in the Nintendo Power line, so that's pretty neat. But yeah, now I can beat Mario 3 again. It's cool because it has all the levels completely listed out, completely drawn out. I think they're the official graphics and not just drawn by hand, which is something I've noticed in other strategy guides. But yeah, if I ever actually needed help getting through a level, I could. So that's pretty neat. So that's a cool strategy guide to add. So, moving a little bit technically further backwards onto the Famicom, it's actually a Famicom release from the 2010s. But let me backtrack a little bit. So, in November 2016, Nintendo released the NES Classic, or perhaps better known as the NES Mini, which was just a official plug and play where you would get this tiny little NES, like the original NES, just on a way smaller scale, and it came with HDMI cables, came with a power cable, came with 2 controllers, and it was just a plug and play. So, like, maybe your parents had an NES growing up, and if you didn't have the games anymore, it was just a good way to play like your Marios and your Metroids and all the other famous like black box games. If it was an essential Nintendo Nintendo released NES game, it was probably on that. It was only like 20 games, but just like a week before, it was released in Japan as the Famicom Mini. So same kind of idea, just different sets of games. Had some Famicom exclusives, or had some Japanese exclusives. So a little different, same release. They were both released right in time for holiday 2016. So we'll go famously, but like Wii U did not sell well. Switch was coming out March 2017, so Nintendo was like, we need something for holiday 2016. So I believe the NES Classic, NES Mini was the holiday title, so to speak, for 2016. So I don't know if Japan really does that like holiday kind of thing. I'm pretty sure I assume so. But yeah, that's what it was. Anyway, about 2 years, a little less than 2 years after both of their releases, Japan also got a re-release of sorts, and that is the Shonen Jump Famicom Mini. So I believe it was to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Shonen Jump, which was a weekly manga magazine in Japan, very famous, and it's just got a bunch of Shonen Jump owned series on it. So I'm talking offhand, there were 3 Dragon Ball games, 2 One Punch Man games. Wow, I already forgot what the other ones were. There's 2 or 3 Fist of the North Star games, and there's one other series I was going to mention. Oh, and the first Dragon Quest is on here. That's what I was remembering. Okay, yes. First Dragon Quest, 2 One Punch Man, 2... Wow, you heard me label it before. But yeah, and then there's like 12 other games outside of those. So that's pretty cool. Very neat. This came into the store, not when I was working there, but when I was visiting. And they had it. It was a good price, and my friend was with me, and he was like, "I want that." I'm like, "All right, well, you can have it. I don't need it." And then after that, I was like, "Well, now I kind of want it." So that's it's super cool. It's like in pristine condition. So like it was technically used when I bought it, but like just based on the packaging, you could tell that like the actual system itself never even got out of the box. So it came out of like the styrofoam packaging or whatever you would call it. So very cool piece to add, and it's one I had been looking for even before my friend bought it. I just didn't pull the trigger that time. It's a little expensive, but it was basically brand new, so like that's super neat. So a few more things to show, but before I show the last game, just wanted to show off just some other knickknacks that I got. And the first one is something I don't even really know how to explain, but basically in Japanese arcades they had a thing called Pokemon. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Gaole. I don't know exactly how it's said, but it was an arcade game. It is an arcade game where you would get these like tiny little cards. They're not actual cards. They're like plastic. But you would scan them into the game and you would battle with them based on like these little chips that you had. So I just happened to find one for like $2 from a seller that I was already buying from. So I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to study it a little bit. And that was the best I came up with. So yeah, it's a Mewtwo one. So if you wanted to battle with Mewtwo, specifically in Pokemon Gaole, you would scan this one in and fight against whatever your friend had. And you can like collect these like crazy. They were like $6 a piece. I wouldn't go buying $6 ones offhandedly unless I was, going kind of crazy. But for $2 just to get one, get a little piece of whatever the heck this was. There we go. So that's pretty neat. Don't know what I'm going to do with it, but yeah, there you go. Apparently it was like the third iteration of doing something like that in Japanese arcades. I can't remember the other ones. There was one that was like Pokemon like Terrara or something like that, and there was another one I can't remember what it was. But apparently Pokemon Galley was the third version of, having distributable chips that you battle with and scan into Japanese arcades. So like that as a concept, very, very cool. Here in North America, that would go insane. You see the TikToks of people scalping cards. It shouldn't come here. It would go too insane, but whatever. Cool to add. The last non-game thing that I bought is a couple different things, and I think, did I talk? Yeah, I've talked in the past about CDs that I've gotten based on game series, more specifically the Ape Escape CDs that I got for music. And I was like, you know what? Let me go and get some Yu-Gi-Oh CDs. Not a whole lot of Yu-Gi-Oh CDs, and it's really only like 2 main releases, but I'll explain. I was also going to do the same for Pokemon, and I'm glad I hit the pause button before I did, because they're really expensive. There was like a lot of 3. That was a good deal, and it was still like $110, so that's okay. But now we have some Yu-Gi-Oh CDs. Let me show those off. So one of the first movies I remember seeing with my dad in theaters when I was younger was Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie. So I grew up a huge Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Were kind of side by side. Growing up, I was probably a little bit more Yu-Gi-Oh!, but as an adult, more Pokemon, way more appreciation for the series. Yu-Gi-Oh! is respectively gone down the tube gameplay-wise. But yeah, I remember seeing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie with my dad. I remember having all the promo cards for the movie, and so nostalgic for that reason, but also this is a great movie. I remember liking it then. I haven't seen it in a while, but like even at whatever age I was when the movie came out, I was like, that was a good movie. I liked it. I could probably watch it again. So that's the official soundtrack. That's pretty cool. And the other main release is one I never knew existed. Had I known it existed, my parents probably would have gotten it for me growing up, and that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Music to Duel By. Just by title, it's Music to Duel By. So I want to say, if I remember correctly, it's like different like themes of like dueling themes, like literally just from the anime. I'm pretty sure. I see like Heart of the Cards on here, face up, face down. I don't know what battle that would have been from, but whatever it is, it was cool enough that like as one of the only 2 original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series CDs to come out, I was like, well, I guess I got to get that one. But how I remember this CD is probably in a slightly different way. Before we get to that, there was one more promo I found, the only promo that was on eBay, a sealed promo, but it was a promo of that. But anyway, going back to what I was just saying, when we were younger, and even still now, when McDonald's would do their Happy Meal promos, sometimes they would have Pokemon cards, sometimes they would have Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. I remember there being a Neopets promo era. That was pretty cool. But apparently at one point, they also did CD promos of that CD, of that Music to Duel By soundtrack. So I got the 3 McDonald's promos. So there was a Yami Yugi one, there was a Seto Kaiba one, and a Maximilian Pegasus one. Slightly different group of people that they did promos for. I mean, Yugi is right there. Kaiba is like hit or miss in a lot of different things. Like you might see Joey before you see Kaiba, but then Pegasus, this is like, I guess, one of the few things that it's like his outside of like the card game, like his release, his promo. They also came with cards, so it says down here includes 2 exclusive trading cards, and there was a 15 card promo set that was released with these. I'm pretty sure just each one had random 2 cards every time, and you just had to collect all 15. I remember getting promo cards at the time. I don't think it was specifically with the CDs. I don't remember having CDs, but I do remember getting promo cards. So 15 card set. I think I went on TCG Player. If I bought them all immediately, it would have been like $50. For whatever reason, I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet, but at some point I will, just to get the promos to go along with the promo CDs. So that's cool. But yeah, some interesting Yu-Gi-Oh! CDs, and I think the only ones that I don't want to say matter, but like the only ones that are from the original anime series. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, the last game we're going to show before a small little announcement is a game we've talked about before, a game that I'm so happy is here, and I know some people will watch this and be like, oh, he did it again. This is Handball 16 on the Xbox 360. So, we get MLB The Show, we get Madden, we get NBA 2K, we get NHL games. Europe, they're super cool. They get handball games. So handball, it's best described as like soccer, but throwing with your hands. I remember playing it in gym. I loved it then. Like, if there was a handball league where I lived, I would probably go play. And when I found out about these, I'm like, that is so fascinating. I've even spoken to my mom, and she was like, yeah, it's like super popular. Handball's super popular in Europe. And I got into collecting the handball games, and I think I have I definitely have one of every release. I'm pretty sure I have one of every game on every console is released, but this version specifically is the German release of it. So there's two covers, the main cover, which is just behind me, but this one specific is the German cover. So that's really cool that there was also, we kind of get that like once in a while, but like, different regions within the same PAL universe have different covers. So that's really, really cool. I've also maybe have gotten into the mindset of doing the different variants. So, like, for example, this is the German release with two different ratings. So this is the PEGI one. I'm pretty sure this is the German one. And, there's other ones that don't have this German one, and they only have the PEGI one. And I'm like, oh, I got to get all the languages now. I've kind of done this thing with, like, Doshin the Giant. To be fair, that's, like, one release on one system, but I have 2 language releases of Doshin the Giant. And there's, like, another 4 I want to get. So I gotta be careful with how I spend my money, because those are really expensive. But at some point I might do, the other variants of these. But at the very least, I think that is now every cover on every system that a game has released. So that's pretty neat. But anyway, that's the last game I was going to show. There are some other games. So these next 2 things I'm going to say are kind of intertwined. But like I said, it was on eBay doing some bidding. And some stuff came in, and there's just some other games that were a little one-off that I was like, it doesn't really fit in this video. Didn't want this video to last forever. So they are being added to the list of Japanese games I need to talk about, which brings me to the next announcement. So almost 2 years ago, August 2023, I think, I posted a video with 3 humongous boxes of Japanese games and said, I bought 300 of these. I'm going to talk about them over the next few weeks, but life, work, my real job, I didn't have time to finish talking about them. So here and there, I've talked about some of the games, haven't really done like a dedicated episode like offhand. I think the last one was like the DS episode. I did like back-to-back Nihon no Konyo Henshokai DS episodes. But in my short absence in the month of April, I went through and did tons of research for a ton of different systems. The original list of 300 games has grown. I've bought more Japanese games, may or may not have gone in a few more Japanese binges in that time, so the list is pretty long, but I've been slowly researching that list down. Maybe you see some of the shorts in the past couple weeks. So all things considered, we're going to bring that series back. I've done a lot of work to just have a steady stream of those episodes to come out. It's not going to be just straight Japanese games. For videos, like we'll have a video for the conventions and all that. But regardless, I'm hoping that over the next several months I have a nice stream of, like one of these episodes a week, but also completely reviving Nihon no Konyo Henshokai for the foreseeable future. The hardest parts of those videos is the research, because I could come up here and just yap about how I seen Arc the Lad in the store, but when I'm doing an entire video on games that I don't know, I really need to sit down and research. So that takes time, but I spent an entire month just doing that for a decent amount of episodes. So we're going to do those over the next several weeks, several months, and hopefully I'm able to keep up researching as new videos come out. So that's the big announcement, that hopefully we have a nice stream of bringing back Nihon no Kuni no Shokai. There's still a lot of games on that list even after researching, so it'll be a little bit longer that we go through them, but I am excited, and I hope you guys stick around to see some of those videos. So, until then, until next week when we start that series with a certain console that I did not, certain set of consoles I didn't have growing up. Until then, I hope you learned something, especially with a lot of these games. Maybe I don't know the super history behind them, so if there's anything I missed, anything I got wrong, anything you just want to tell me, please tell me. I would love to continue learning about these games as much as I have hopefully taught you something. So, with that said, until next week, bye!